the engine power balance, 1, 2, and 3 show to be misfiring. Lean sensor indicating lean. I can see that it's indicating lean because it's adding a whole bunch of fuel. Short-term fuel trim 1 and 2. It's adding 20% and it's just going to keep climbing. So there's an air leak somewhere. Something's wrong. Okay, I started to drive this and I can hear the rear brakes grinding. So today we are going to be looking at this Ford Edge that was at another shop, a local shop. Customer spent quite a bit of money. They didn't give me a number. I didn't ask. It doesn't matter. But they had front and rear valve cover gaskets and grommets replaced. I guess intake manifold gasket replaced. Something with the fuel level sending unit wasn't working right, so I had a code for that. But there's still a code for that. So I guess the gas gauge wasn't working right. I don't know. I look under here and I see a whole bunch of, wires run from the alternator. Then I notice on the back side of the computer right here, there's a connector. So I don't know what was modified or not fixed correctly or altered, but get to looking at all the valve cover grommet bolts. There's a blue one right there, a blue one right there, and a blue one. Yeah, so they replaced all of them, right? Oh, what about that guy in the back over here underneath that wiring harness? That one back there? Let me turn my laser on so we can see what I'm pointing to. So there's one right back there where my green laser is pointing to. It's not been changed. So why did they change all of them except that one? Did they tear one of the grommets and said, I'm not going to buy a new grommet or buy a new valve cover gasket set. I'm just going to short the customer on the new grommet there. So you could develop an oil leak because that one wasn't changed. But anyways, the whole point of me working on it is the car is not running right. There's a leak somewhere. According to short-term fuel trims on bank 1 and bank 2, it's adding upwards of 65% of fuel, which I'll show you in the video from yesterday when I diagnosed it. Customer does not want to take it back to this shop. I advised him, why would you pay me to fix something that somebody else caused or did not fix correctly? He goes, I trust you. I wish I would have waited for you to be able to get it in and get the oil leak fixed and this other stuff done. But I couldn't wait, so I had to take it somewhere else. And now this is where we're at. So this hose right here that comes from the brake booster check valve was underneath that water outlet housing and tucked in down by the starter. So it wasn't even plugged into the intake hose, which was causing it to pull in air here in the mass airflow sensors here. And so it was unmetered air causing the vehicle to run lean. So I'm going to put this back in here and we're going to watch the fuel trims. And oh yeah, she's still climbing. So there must have been more than one problem. We're at 32%. Let's go out here and take a look. $35, 40%. So I just noticed there's a hose back here. It goes on the back of the intake plenum. I'll turn my laser on so we can see it. Right there. And the clamp is not in its correct position. The clamp is almost off. It needs to be further up here. Okay, so I think I've isolated at least one of the issues. I'm going to spray it right next to this injector right here, and you're going to hear the engine change RPM. So that injector seal's leaking. How about this one? Yep. How about this one? Oh yeah.
Now I'm only wondering if the rear is doing the same thing.
Once I found that the injector seals were leaking, I pulled the upper intake manifold and the fuel rail assembly and pulled all the injectors out to take a look. I'd found that a couple of the seals were damaged, and it was definitely evident somebody had replaced them recently, as there was lubricant around the O-rings. As you can see in this photo, the tip of this injector is dented and may have been dropped before. In the next few photos, you will see where the injectors seat into the intake manifold. There's a lot of carbon deposits and debris, which can keep the injectors from sealing properly. So it's super important that this gets cleaned up the right way.
So you spray your cleaner on your rag, use a 9 or 10 millimeter socket with an extension and a ratchet, and that way you're able to take the cleaner that's on the rag, put it on your socket, put it down into the ejector port, and you work it around and around and around. It'll twist up the rag, but you're gonna clean that port out. If you look in there, it's almost clean. So I'm gonna go back with some more cleaner and we're gonna do it again.
As you can see here, I cleaned the injectors up really well, replaced the upper and lower seals, and they are ready for installation.
Short-term fuel trims are looking good. We're really close to zero. We went from positive 60 to 68% to plus and minus 1-2%. I've been driving about 10 minutes now. Brake pedal's very sensitive. It's like the brakes are partially applied and you can feel the pulsation through the rotors. I think that either A, the booster is adjusted too tight, or B, we have a HCU going bad, which is a hydraulic control unit.
Just got back from a test drive, putting it up on the lift.
I cannot spin this wheel. It's got resistance, but it will spin.
So I identified the problem was the adjustment rod between the brake booster and the brake master cylinder. So I went ahead and removed the brake master cylinder, adjusted the adjustment rod between the master cylinder and the booster, so this way the brakes would not lock up anymore. After doing so, I went ahead and machined the front and rear brake rotors, installed new ceramic brake pads. Take a look at these brake pads, completely worn uneven. Yes, I made sure that the caliper slide pins and everything was moving freely, and test drove the vehicle after the repairs were made. Even after all of that, I did find that the engine was still leaking engine oil and coolant. I had to replace the upper hose clamp on the radiator hose and replace the oil pressure sending unit. Customer satisfaction is my goal, and I think we've achieved that here.